The Summer of Psilocytes, Part 2, Gibraltar. About a month later, my close pal Gibraltar from Hip City College visited my home for the first time. Gibraltar and I became closer as my freshman year went on, and we found more and more in common, whether it was going on runs around the city, consuming the green power, or sharing our opinions on Hip City College. Unlike me, however, Gibraltar doubled down on his enrollment and became a real professional with the camera. He also spent part of our first college year getting trained in transcendental meditation. It made sense, since he was energetically and ideologically always a good influence on my psyche. He had yet to try the mycospawn, so I invited him to join me in the northern woods for a weekend for his first time. I was ready to take my next caliber of dosage for the summer, one that probably equated to a power level B, whereas my time with the djembe, by the same logic, would be a power level C, I reckon. So I'd say, when Gibraltar visited, I consumed a B level dose, while I gave him a C+ level dose for his first time. We consumed the mycospawn in my room and waited as I sat up on the edge of my bed, while Gibraltar rocked back and forth on a floor-level gaming chair. He had a notebook in his lap and a pen in hand, ready to record any possible epiphanies or vantage points that Psilocytes might bestow. I started to have a bit of nervous laughter after everything I said. It seemed anything I could say was either sort of lewd via double entendre or something so painfully boring that I could barely handle the fact I had decided to say it. Gibraltar didn't share this giddiness, and instead calmly shifted his gaze between me and his notepad occasionally. "It feels like I'm on a talk show, like Ellen or some shit," I managed to say through the laughter. But it was Ellen in reverse, I tried to explain, where I was Ellen and he was the guest interviewing me, writing stuff down on his notepad, like shrink notes. I asked him if he was feeling the effects of the mycospawn yet, to which he replied that he thought so. "I wish people felt like this all the time," Gibraltar remarked less than an hour later. The effects had further taken hold, and he was referring to the increased empathy and awareness of goodness in general. Aside from maybe an increased tendency toward laughter, Gibraltar didn't act out of sorts at all, and actually seemed to vibe with the Psilocytes consciousness like a natural. He was sure he could have handled a stiffer launch into the mycospawn realm. Better safe than sorry though, we were sure. We put on a radio station downstairs that was known for Thievery Corporation type jams, or in other words, music with heavy bass, tight beats, ethereal vocals and electronics. It was the perfect music for feeling like life was simply carrying on in a manageable way. At one point, I decided to use the toilet in the downstairs bathroom, where one of the speakers was. When I started to pee, the music shifted into the sounds of a beach, with waves crashing and seagulls screeching, right on cue with the splashing of my piss. I laughed away, amazed at how much Psilocytes had revealed to me the synchronicities behind all levels of existence. Then it appeared that my cat was also roused by the music. She rubbed her face against the edge of a cupboard, and it became an instant music video. I looked to see Gibraltar catching it on video, and again hilarity ensued. This was a time where Psilocytes was plenty potent, but ultimately kind. He had allowed an ordinary day at home to become something spectacular in just the right amount. As I gazed in a trance out my kitchen window, I stared at the many trees and bushes of my backyard. Eventually I recognized patterns which transformed into a multitude of faces, and in the fashion of forest spirits no less. Though it only happened for less than a minute, it felt like a warm welcoming, and I felt back in touch with the faces of the forest I had seen in my past experiences. The visuals were benevolent, and the day ended in peace after a fully appreciated Mexican dinner. Gibraltar proved to be a solid mycospawn companion. So far the penis envies had served me well, and given me the green light to proceed with the next calibre.